Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton, joined by Maddie Gardner, Lauren Coleman, Christian Morgan, and Jalen Gilkey.
And someone is clearly outside because we are hearing that natural sound of what I believe is Gate City Boulevard behind Jalen Gilkey this afternoon. Happy Monday. Hopefully you're having a good start to the work week, and hopefully we can make it a little bit better by talking to you. And the way we do that is on our Facebook stream, where we pull the show, the entire thing. It's right there for you to watch.
Yeah, make sure you come and talk to us. And as you head on over to Facebook, we want to get into some big news coming out of our state today. So a major tech industry announcement for North Carolina today. Apple plans to invest more than $1 billion in our state to build its first East Coast campus. The move is expected to bring at least 3,000 new jobs to our state. And WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba joins us live from North Carolina A&T State University to talk about the connection between the two. Adore.
That's right. North Carolina A&T State University, along with other universities and school districts in North Carolina, are poised to benefit directly from Apple's investment in North Carolina. Now, the school is part of Apple's planned $100 million investment to support North Carolina schools, including K-12 schools. Now, Apple is investing another $110 million in infrastructure for broadband connectivity. Apple's East Coast campus, which will be based at the Research Triangle Park, falls under Apple's plans to invest $430 billion and add 20,000 new jobs over the next 5 years. And 3,000 of those jobs will come to our state.
Definitely opens up more opportunities. I've been applying for internships with Apple, so it just seems like it brings about more opportunities for me to apply.
Take some courses, seek a certificate degree in cybersecurity or in technology advancements of data analytics through our university, as an example, or take courses in the community colleges to begin to enhance their skill sets.
Now, the university is already a partner with Apple, and Chancellor Martin tells me that with today's news, Apple's investments in the school directly is set to double.
Adore, thank you. Let's turn now to the headlines with your 4 to 5 roundup. Tonight, Governor Roy Cooper will give his State of the State speech. It's a tradition usually held in February or March, but because of the pandemic, it will be tonight at 7. This is Governor Cooper's third time giving the address, his first since voters re-elected him in November. In the last few hours, the family of Andrew Brown Jr. watched the body camera video of his death in Elizabeth City. The 42-year-old man was shot and killed by Pasquotank County deputies last week while they were serving a warrant on felony drug offenses. Witnesses say Brown tried to drive away, and scanner audio indicates that he was shot in the back. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, says the family was only shown about 20 seconds of the tape and that the department wanted more time to redact the faces of the deputies in the video. 7 deputies are now on paid administrative leave. County Sheriff Tommy Wooten says the tapes should be shown to the public if it won't hinder the state's investigation. A North Carolina state law signed in 2016 requires a judge to sign off on any body camera release. And switching gears here, Wet n Wild Emerald Point is offering a big incentive to new hires. The Greensboro Water Park will now pay seasonal workers a starting rate of $13 an hour. That's up from $11. Park management wants to hire 300 new people to expand and operate at pre-COVID hours. They're hiring for all positions in all departments, but they're focusing on lifeguards and food and beverage staff. We have the link to apply on WFMYnews2.com.
So there have been rumors swirling all over social media, all about the future of one of Greensboro's longtime restaurants. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey live at Beef Burger on Gate City Boulevard with more. Jalen?
Well, let me start with this. The rumor that Beef Burger is closing is simply not true. I spoke with one employee off camera earlier today that let me know that Beef Burger's beloved owner, Mr. Ralph, is currently in the hospital. Unfortunately, I do not have an update on his current condition. But as you can see behind me, the people of Greensboro and the Triad truly love this hometown favorite. And I spoke with one mother and daughter earlier today that let me know their family's been coming here for at least 3 generations.
For the city of Greensboro, Beef Burger is a landmark. But for Kathy and Rebecca Wright, it's a part of their family history.
I've been coming to Beef Burger basically all my life. My grandfather took my grandmother on her first date here.
Once they got married and had children, they took us there. I've taken my kids there. My siblings have taken their kids there.
It's kind of just been a family spot that's been really important to us for a really long time.
The Wright family loves Beef Burger so much, they even celebrated one of Rebecca's birthdays here.
We do big family gatherings there. My daughter's 10th birthday party was there, and Ralph made the comment that there had never been a birthday party there before my daughter did her 10th birthday party.
Beef Burger has been a treasured staple in the Triad for more than half a century, and today's turnout shows that.
As the rumors circulated on social media that Beef Burger was closing, and as the line continued to grow throughout the day, employees had to end up putting a sign in the window that read, "Do not believe Facebook, we are still open."
Well, it is, obviously, it's an institution. I mean, it's been around forever, and I love when Jalen says, do not believe Facebook, we are open. We did stories after story on this over the years, and obviously it's not going anywhere anytime soon. People still love and will line up for that food.
I think this kind of ended up as one of those, kind of pass it around, and by the time it gets out to everybody, the story's actually been twisted, so now we are here, having to turn it back around. But like Jalen said, don't believe everything you read on Facebook, don't believe everything that's on the internet, and, it really shows you how loyal our community is here in Greensboro, especially to a staple like Beef Burger.
Yeah, it's a regular game of telephone, right? It all got twisted somewhere in between. Glad to see that they're not closing. Am upset to hear that their owner is not feeling too well. He is experiencing some kind of illness, so we hope that he gets better very soon. I did learn today that Beef Burger is featured in the movie Bull Durham. Apparently the team stops by, I forgot about this, and eats a Beef Burger.
It's very famous for that. In fact, I mean, to be honest with you, before, because, not being from Greensboro originally, when I was younger and I remember seeing that movie, I'm like, what is that? My dad was telling me, oh, you got to go to Greensboro and check this. Awesome.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad to hear that this is just a rumor, another place to add on my list of many places to go visit. But what I think is cool about all this is if anyone hadn't been to the restaurant in a while, this really sparked some interest. As we saw, the lines are really long, so they're probably going to get a lot of business over the next few days or so.
I was going to say, sometimes rumors turn out to be good things from a marketing standpoint. Yeah. All right, Kristen, let's talk about a forecast.
Tell you what, guys, it's a good day to sit outside and eat a burger. Now that I'm hungry now that I'm thinking about that. We've got beautiful sunshine all across the Triad today. Not a cloud in the sky. We don't use the word perfect to describe the weather a whole lot, but I think today is one of those days that we can do that, and rightfully so. You see that on our weather camera network. Greensboro, Winston, High Point, Burlington, beautiful Carolina blue sky. Again, not a cloud in the sky today, and temperatures very comfortable. 74 in Greensboro right now, 73 in Winston-Salem, 74 in Lexington, 73 down in Asheboro as well. Pretty much all of us are getting in on some of the springtime warmth, and this is just one day of several warmer days on the way. A little taste of summer by the time we get to the middle of the week. Of course, there's nothing going on the radar, and really the entire eastern half of the country is dry and has nice weather at the moment right now. High pressure in control of our weather, but starting to shift to our south and just offshore. That will continue us on a warming trend over the next several days. Again, a little taste of summer by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, with temperatures likely in the mid-80s. Tonight, clear skies. Most of us will drop down into the low 50s, right around 53 here in Greensboro. Could still be some upper 40s back to the west, and in the foothills, those low-lying areas that tend to get just a little bit cooler than everybody else may see some upper 40s tonight. Going into your Tuesday, there will be a few clouds to start, but a warmer day with more sunshine in the afternoon. It's a warm day of weather. I expect us to cross the 80-degree mark for most of us tomorrow, maybe even low 80s for some folks. And again, this is a continuation of springtime, making a big comeback as we go into the end of the week, all the while staying dry. We'll talk about those next chances for rain and show you that full 7-day forecast in a couple minutes.
I think so.
Hello, Facebook.
Hi.
We will chat today about kid-friendly Oscar movies is coming up next.
I'm here. I'm in a different set over
She's
here.
working. So I only watched the very ending. I didn't watch anything else leading up to. I watched Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Actor. That's all I watched last night.
Were you surprised by any of the results?
Yes.
The end of it.
So I think everybody, the buzz right now is why did Chadwick Boseman not get Best Actor, because the film he was in got so many other awards, and then Anthony Hopkins got, I can't say anything because I haven't seen any of these movies.
Me
in fact,
neither.
some of them I went, I don't even know that Nomadland, or what, I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
I've been trying to watch Nomadland. Sadly, another movie always beats it out when it comes down to it. When I am like
Oh, when
deciding
you're
what
trying
movie
to
to
pick.
watch.
okay.
I did see A Promising Young Woman on Amazon Prime, and it is very good.
Really?
It is very good. I'm over here. Hi.
There she is.
Hi, everyone. It's not suitable for all audiences.
Really? Okay.
But it's really good.
What is, so I love Frances McDormand, so I was so
Mm-hmm.
happy that she won no matter what, because I think she's awesome. But what, do you know the basic plot of Nomadland? Because I don't even know that.
Facebook, help me out with this one if you know I'm incorrect. Essentially, she is traveling around, and then there are these communities of people who are nomads, who
Okay.
just set up these camps and live. So I don't know what the plot
Yeah,
is,
but that's the basic
but that's
idea.
the
Okay.
premise of it. But she's a fantastic actress.
And then other people, you'll see this on my Facebook segment coming up, but they've mentioned Tenet, which I don't know much about that either.
I watched
Tenet.
a little bit of Tenet and I got lost.
Very complicated.
I was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
All right, parents, listen up. If you are looking for some good movies for the whole family, and the kiddos included there were 2 Oscar winners last night that you need to know about. Now, the guy usually on the other side of the camera from me is a guy named Manning Franks. You might hear me talk about him every now and then. He was a film studies major, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know anybody who knows everything about the film industry like this guy does. So I told him today, you're the expert. I'm going to interview you. Here's our conversation about must-see, kid-friendly Oscar winners for all the families out there. So Manning, obviously I have 4 kids, so I pay attention to the kid-friendly movies. Let's start with these 2 Oscar winners this year, so in case folks at home aren't quite as familiar with him. Soul was such a good movie. Talk about that and why you think it won.
Well, usually, first off, it's a pleasure to be here because usually I'm on the other side, so this is going to be really weird editing me, but you know what? It's first time for everything. So Soul, which I think is a great, great film, not one of my favorites of the year, but it's still a phenomenal film by Pete Docter, who also did Inside Out. This film, I believe, is one that kind of spoke to not only kids, but families. It had very emotional and very existential questions. It was very family accessible, but also accessible for the adults as well as the kids. And that's why usually Pixar, I think, succeeds, because animated films usually are not solely driven to kids. They have a family element as well for the whole, for the whole family, adults and kids.
So now let's talk about, and this is one of my personal favorites of the year, not just for kids, I think this is for adults too, but My Octopus Teacher is kind of a documentary type thing. That's a whole different ballgame, but tell us about that film and why you think that one as well.
It's kind of a beautiful, very intimate film. It was filmed over 10 years where the footage was gotten, which I believe Craig Foster was the name of the guy who did all this. Just was a phenomenal introspective take at what does it mean to have a relationship with nature? What does it mean for us to learn, not from other humans, but from nature itself? And I think it was just a feel-good documentary, and that's why people started to gravitate toward it. Some other ones like Collective, which is my personal favorite, is very hard-hitting. Same as Time, which is another great one. But I think My Octopus Teacher just had the great feel and was accessible to a lot of people. If I had a very hard year this past year, and My Octopus Teacher kind of inspired you, it roused you up, and I think that is why it ultimately swept the precursors and took the Oscar.
Manning, thanks for talking to us today. I look forward to tomorrow when you're on the other side of the camera with me. Manning said, yes, me too. All right, so I asked you on Facebook to tell me the best movie that you saw all year. Forget about Oscars, just what's the best one? Teresa Galloway says that's a tie between Tenet and The Little Things. On demand, $19.99, but cheaper than going to a movie. She says she's afraid that Zoom and on-demand movies are the future. Bob Campbell says Tenet. A lot of people shared this idea, by the way. Lisa said Penny Serenade. And then Candace, who's a regular here on the show, said Unhinged. Meanwhile, Amy Walker-Carl says The Marksman. And Tasha says, haven't watched many new ones, but rediscovered La La Land and loved it. It's okay to go back. It's okay to go back if you want to go back. I will tell you this. So both of the movies, Soul and it's kind of funny that we picked kid movies today because Soul and My Octopus Teacher are the only two probably I've seen that won Oscars, but because of my kids. Octopus Teacher, you have to watch this. It's not that long, and it is. It's one of the best documentaries, and it plays more like a film with a screenplay because the storyline is so good. He develops a relationship literally by going down to see this octopus and diving. The octopus gets so used to him. The octopus comes out and cuddles with him and stays there, and he goes through the whole life cycle of the octopus. It's really neat.
I think it's so interesting. Every year around this time when we have the Oscars discussion, I'm the one who's like, I haven't seen any of these movies. I maybe seen one, and I have seen like one or two that were nominated this year, but I think especially this year, not too many people have actually seen the movies because theaters have been closed, and then you have to pay the premium fee to watch them on streaming services. I'm glad they were still released, but I do hope that we can see them in theaters one day.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I have not seen a lot of these movies that won Oscars, and like you said, a lot of us are at home. We can't go to the theater. We can now or couldn't before, which is one of the reasons why I didn't really see a lot of these movies. I've been doing a lot of the Netflix series and Hulu series, but after seeing your story, Eric, I definitely want to check out Soul. I remember seeing that commercial, but now I want to go ahead and see the movie.
Yeah, I feel so out of touch because I don't think I've seen any of the Oscar movies, and I'm actually trying to think about the last movie that I watched that was recent, and I can't remember.
Well, and honestly, if it wasn't for my kids, I probably wouldn't have seen these. But I will tell you too that Soul is not just for kids. There's a great message in this movie that, in fact, I had to, for my littlest one, I had to explain what it meant about your loved ones and that type of thing. So it's so good. I have to say both of those.
I've heard nothing but great things about that movie.
So good.
I'm gonna make a point to watch it.
Yeah, we should watch it together. Team bonding.
I can't watch it with you because I'll talk the whole time.
And I cry in every movie.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, it's just like happy movies. I'm bawling.
I cry at commercials. Well, in fact, maybe these. Take a look. We'll be right back.
The crying with popcorn.
This one. Hello,
Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, Maddie, when you were off, we did our remote
me
camera
so
and went back through the back to show everybody what it looks like walking to the weather garden.
That was really cool.
It was fun.
Were they impressed?
Probably not, but we filled time.
Did you do it on Facebook? Or?
We did it on we did it on Facebook, but we did it with the Dejero app. And so I took Chad's cell phone and then we walked back. And
that's interesting.
But the fun part was that he gave me his cell phone and it was unlocked, so I started texting people. That was fun.
Oh, I took like at least 70 selfies on Chad's phone the other week, and he posted them on Facebook. I only know that because Gloria on our Facebook stream tagged me. So thank you. Thank you for that, Gloria. Yeah.
Oh, Manny says his favorite film, his pick of all of them is Nomadland.
Nomadland?
Oh, see, I heard mixed reviews. I need a plot. If it doesn't have a plot, I can't get into it.
Yep.
However, I don't know about that one. I do like that, there was the debate between like, should streaming services be nominated for Oscars because they're technically not shown in theaters? That was like a couple years ago when streaming services were starting to produce their original content.
And today on U Day, Coach Lamont helps us to put the focus back on ourselves by first focusing on the power of our thinking.
Are we getting the most out of our minds? Coach expands on that very question.
Scientists and neurologists have proven that every thought we think releases a chemical that flows through our bodies. These chemicals enable our bodies to feel the thoughts that we are experiencing. Have you ever had a positive or negative thought and you could actually feel it? Now, feeling the thought helps you understand the weight of what you are thinking. So with this in mind, could your mind be poisoning your body when you think negative? Absolutely. So here's a question for you. Would you drink bleach if I offered it? Now, of course you wouldn't, but it's the same effect if you ponder negative and damaging thoughts about yourself. The outside world could never do the damage that your inside world could do to you if you continue to think negative. Do right by you. Think healthy. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
The word perfect is not used all that often in weather, but we're going to use it today because we absolutely have a perfect day of weather across the Triad. Hopefully you've had a chance to get out and enjoy it. Beautiful sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. We have temperatures in the mid-70s, 74 right now. Looking over downtown Greensboro, and generally mid-70s all across the board. 75 over in Winston-Salem, 73 in Asheboro, and 74 in Lexington as well. Of course, things are quiet on the radar, and not just here at home, really all across the eastern half of the United States. And that's because we have high pressure in control of our weather. That's keeping us high and dry. And as it starts to shift down to the south and a little more offshore, we continue on this warming trend. This is just one day of a big deal warm up. We're heading forward towards the middle of the week. Our winds will continue to turn stronger out of the south. That will continue to pump in warmer air as we go into the middle of the week. High pressure staying in control will keep us dry as well. Tonight, under clear skies, I expect us to drop down into the low and mid 50s here in the Piedmont. Maybe some upper 40s back to the west in the foothills and in some of those more low-lying and rural spots that tend to get a little bit cooler than everybody else. Going into your Tuesday, a few clouds early on tomorrow morning, but they won't cause us any issues. Sunshine by the afternoon, and we're going to warm things up to right around 80 degrees for your Tuesday afternoon. Now, with clear skies tonight, you're going to have a really nice night of weather to check out the pink supermoon. Kind of sounds like this, but it will not actually be pink. It will look white, like a normal full moon. It'll just be a little bit bigger than normal. The reason that it's called the pink moon is because this is the creeping phlox plant. It tends to bloom around this time here in the Triad, and it has those pink blooms. So there you go. That's how the name pink comes about for that moon tonight. Really is something cool to see, a nice sight in the sky. You should go outside tonight and check it out. Going into Wednesday and Thursday, sticking around with dry weather, but the temperatures are very warm. Kind of a hint of summer, if you will. Mid-80s for Wednesday and Thursday. Next chance for rain doesn't arrive until we get into the end of the week on Friday and Saturday. That's your forecast. We're coming right back.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check, 4 to 5. Mic check. Mic check. McDonald's offering $50 for.
Oh, my question for the people.
Wow. Maddie has a question. Listen.
I have a question for the people. My question is, what song is in your head? And I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
What song is stuck in your head right now? Now, because of you, mine is People Get Ready. There's a change coming. Because now that you said people, and it made me think of that. Or Everyday People, Sly and the Family Stone.
Interesting. Lauren, you have one today?
No, but I think I heard you humming some Whitney over there.
That's right.
Is that what you?
So that's what's in my head now.
I didn't hear it.
It's I Want to Dance, Whitney Houston. It's usually
It's a great
that.
song. That's your go-to pump song. It's like, yes. It's like, she's like, woo.
That was our song of the day the other day.
Song of the day? For what?
I think, wasn't that our song of the day for the morning meeting the other day? Like on Friday?
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know. I forgot that we did that.
Yeah.
Yes, in our morning meeting, one of our producers plays a song of the day.
I love Whitney Houston.
Today was No Scrubs by TLC.
Oh, that's my wife's
I
one of her
love that
favorite
song.
songs.
They did Waterfalls for the
Waterfall.
afternoon meeting.
Because it's T's. It's the T in TLC's birthday. That's why.
Oh, T-Boz,
it?
yeah.
T-Bones.
Leslie,
T-Boz.
T-Boz.
who's the one that passed away? One
Left Eye.
Left Eye. So my wife saw her in an airport once and flipped
Wow.
out. She couldn't get to her in time because she loved TLC. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you all see the movie?
No.
VH1 did a movie. It's pretty good.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
I have no idea what's coming up. Wish me luck.
It's me.
Okay. Sorry, Matt.
You know, more places are starting to hire again as more businesses start to reopen around the country, but now businesses are facing a new problem. Finding people to hire. Sounds unusual, doesn't it? A new report says about 42% of small businesses all across the country cannot fill their jobs. One Florida McDonald's needed workers so badly, they are willing to pay $50 for you to interview. That got big reaction on our Facebook page. Brian Bennett here to break it all down. Never heard that before, BB.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Eric. I mean, I've seen a lot of things, but $50 for a job interview is something that I've never seen until now. So we're going to kick it off with Dan, who actually displayed what the McDonald's was showing. It says interviews Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Get $50 for interview. Later, he posted the sign now reads get hired $11.50 per hour, which brings us to our comments. We're going to start with Will, who says, nobody wants to risk catching COVID-19 for $11.50 an hour, and it's ironic that a man who owns 60 McDonald's can't up his base pay for his employees. Of course, he's talking about the franchise owner, Blake Casper there. We're going to move on to Laura, who says, sorry, we can't give you a living wage, but what about this $50 instead? Now, Earl dives a little deeper and says $50 bonus to get inconsistent minimum wage hours. Locally, the McDonald's are not run well. The people are always in a bad mood, and that starts with management. This is one brand who could really use an overhaul. Okay, that was his opinion. And Craig says they might as well put the self-order kiosk to work and bring in the machines to cook, while Chuck says restaurants and small diners can't find help. I'm willing to bet this spreads to professional sports. Cheaper for me to stream instead of going to games. And lastly, Holly says it's a nationwide problem. Everyone is hiring. No one is applying. Now, a lot of business owners are contributing this to just people saying that, you know, the risk of going to work and catching the virus isn't worth it. Other people have to stay home for childcare and homeschooling. And of course, some people are contributing it to unemployment benefits being higher due to the pandemic, guys. So,
you know, it's funny.
You know, it's a crazy thing.
When you first brought this up, when Brian first brought it up, I thought people would laugh and then instead they went at it.
It kind of backfired.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, okay, well, a lot of people will apply for the job, get their $50, and then not even take the job. You know?
It's funny, the commenter who said everyone is hiring, no one is applying. I'm starting to see that in the service industry. I went to a restaurant over the weekend and there were barely any customers in there, but we were on a 45-minute wait, even though there were several open tables because they only had one waitress.
Oh,
They're
wow.
looking to hire more people, but they just can't accommodate. The kitchen can't keep up. The wait staff is short-staffed, so they can't serve the customers who they do have.
I mean, it makes sense. When I was in high school, I worked at Chick-fil-A, and I thought that getting a lemonade and a brownie during my interview was great, but now $50 sounds a whole lot better than that.
I'll take a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
I would
if I want to do
also
that.
like a lemonade and a brownie.
Yeah, that sounds great right now. But like you said, you would think people would just show up for the interview, maybe take the money and not take the job. But I think if you're getting paid below a living wage and then $50, is that really a good trade-off? So that's probably why a lot of people are like, I'll pass on that. There might be better job opportunities out there.
Maybe people are seeing it as like kind of a hook. Maybe this is too good to be true. Like, okay, $50, and then what happens after that? What happens actually after I get the job?
I don't know
what are my
this
work conditions gonna
to be exact, but I'll bet you don't get the $50 unless you're hired.
You get the job.
It probably
Right.
comes
Is that what he
in
said?
probably comes in the check, and then it's taxed, and then it
Right.
all.
Right.
It's like $20 at the end.
Here's your $15.35.
Here's your $12.
Thanks for applying. That's right.
Oh, goodness. But definitely a lot of people hiring here locally as well. If you're looking for a job in the
Yes.
service industry and the restaurant industry, go to the Greensboro Takeout Facebook page. I know that it started as a way to advertise restaurants that were doing takeout meals, but now those same restaurants are posting job openings.
Very cool. All right, we're coming right back. Stay there. I could totally see Christian at Chick-fil-A.
My pleasure.
It'd be my pleasure to give you a forecast.
That's right.
Chick-fil-A sandwich should date but not mate.
Wait, what? They should.
So
they should be close together.
right, the pickles on the sandwich should date but not mate. So they should be beside each other but not on top of each other.
I'm sorry. Are we
pardon me?
talking about
Oh, that's
Chick-fil-A
great.
sandwiches? Are you sharing insider secrets?
I'm sharing insider secrets with Mr. Tim Buckley.
So,
They should be
do
close.
my twins who work at Chick-fil-A know whatever it is you're talking about?
Text them.
I don't know, sir. The operator of the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I think his mic is going out by design.
Yeah,
He's like, oh no.
it's probably. Can you hear me now? Good.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so when I was in high school and I interviewed, I knew the owner and operator of the Chick-fil-A there, so it was a little less nerve-wracking than it would have normally been. So I knew the guy I was interviewing with, but he was telling me how they made the sandwiches at Chick-fil-A, and he's like, when you make it, the pickles have to date but not mate, so they need to be beside each other. But you don't want the pickles on top of each other because you want them to cover the whole piece of chicken.
Well, you would
in the
never
bun.
forget that, that's for sure.
That's right.
I think I'm.
That is
So I
funny.
just do
And
this?
nobody does customer service like
you-
Chick-fil-A.
You
Goodness.
got
They said I was at the camera one spot.
You know, Christian, I don't know if your parents
do
said
put it
this,
in the middle here?
but I told my twins that I said, you should get a job there if for no other reason than the fact that you will learn how to do superior customer service. You know, like that'll stay with you in any job.
Yeah, that's very accurate. And
me
they
an
teach
A?
that and practice that.
You got me at A.
So true.
Now I also
A as
remember a
in
bad
apple.
time.
I haven't had an
Whenever
apple
the
in a
Chick-fil-A
hot
first got
minute.
milkshakes,
You're at
I was
E,
working
my
there,
dear.
and he had to put the
Slide to the
milkshake
left.
base in the machine, and I pulled it out one day, and all the milkshake base ran all over the floor.
So I'm hearing that Christian was not a great worker at
Okay,
Chick-fil-A,
I
but
was
you
a
are
great
great
employee.
meteorologist. I'm sure you're very positive.
Did you get
like
in
you are
trouble,
here.
Christian?
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner. Eric Chilton's here. Lauren Coleman is here. And meteorologist Christian Morgan is here. Christian, I have to apologize because during the commercial break, I was just informed that I was talking over you the entire time.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Whole time.
He was trying
I looked
to tell
at her
a
at one
story.
point. I said, do you hear Christian?
It was the rudest thing ever.
Oh my goodness.
So
She didn't even know.
embarrassed,
She didn't
and
know
I'm
it. It's
so
fine.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I was trying to tell everyone where they were supposed to be. Eric was in the wrong spot.
I've been
Which
in the
is
right
normal.
spot the whole time.
I will let you speak now.
No, forget it. I'm done.
No, he said, that's it. I'm out
I'm
now.
done. No more.
Well, hopefully we can make up for it in the next commercial break. So make sure you guys come and join us on the Facebook live stream and chat with us during the breaks.
All right, so let's start things off in this next half hour with a concerning spike in one of our local coronavirus numbers we're talking about. As you know, every county tracks the number of people in the hospital with the virus. And the graph you're about to see, it shows Guilford County's numbers. Now, it jumped 10 over the weekend. Last Friday, there were 40 people in the hospital. Now there are 50. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that is the largest spike that we've seen since mid-January. Up until today, we'd seen several days of a slow decline in those numbers. And also, we told you last week that the 40 on Friday was the lowest, or county's lowest rather, since it started reporting the number back in August. A reminder here, the gaps that you see in some of these right between the graph, the bar graphs there, that just represents over the weekends where they do not report numbers.
While we still don't know if booster shots for the COVID-19 vaccine will be required, CEOs of the vaccine drug companies say the booster shot is likely. So how exactly is that going to work? And would you need to get the same brand that you already had? Take a look at what our Verify team found out.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Well, a new pilot program to give Americans the chance to test themselves for COVID-19 has been launched right here in North Carolina. Pitt County, just east of Raleigh, is one of 2 sites nationwide to be a part of a federal program that is handing out free COVID-19 rapid tests. So each kid has 25 tests to be taken 3 times a week. Users swab their own nose, place the swab in a tube filled with a special kind of solution. Then they remove the swab and put it into a test strip into the tube. 10 minutes later, the strip will confirm a positive or a negative antigen test.
3 times a week testing with this kind of technology is just as good as the gold standard PCR.
Dr. Francis Collins, the director of the National Institute of Health, says the goal of the program is to see if home testing affects people's behaviors and slows transmission.
Let's turn to the headlines now in your 4 to 5 roundup. The number of Americans who say they are hesitant to get the COVID-19 vaccine is starting to go down, but a substantial number of people still say they will not get vaccinated. Overall, 6 in 10 Americans say they will get a vaccine, leaving 4 in 10 who say maybe or no. Most who say they will not get a shot believe the vaccine is too untested. Although the number of hesitant people is dropping, experts are concerned any reluctance will ruin our chance at herd immunity. The European Commission is now suing AstraZeneca, saying the pharmaceutical company did not respect its contract for a supply of COVID-19 vaccines. They also say that AstraZeneca did not have a reliable plan to make sure doses were delivered on time. Under the contract, the company committed to deliver 180 million doses to the EU between April and June. But just last month, AstraZeneca said they could only deliver 1/3 of that. And India set a world record for new coronavirus infections for the 5th consecutive day. More than 350,000 new cases were reported, and sadly, 2,800 more deaths. The country's total caseload is now more than 17 million, and the death toll stands at more than 195,000. Volunteers have now created a database of resources such as oxygen, key coronavirus drugs, and even hospital beds. All of those items are currently in short supply in India, and many COVID-19 patients are being left outside hospitals, waiting to be admitted, unable to breathe.
All right, how do you like your weather? Sunny and 75, maybe? How many times throughout the year do we ask for that, for our weather to be sunny and 75? We ask for that a lot, but we just don't always get that. Today is one of those days. Beautiful day to be outside doing anything outdoors. Sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. Looking over downtown Greensboro right now, we're at 74 in Greensboro. Most all of us are sitting in the low and mid 70s right now. 75 over in Winston-Salem, 73 down in Asheboro, and 76 over in Lexington as well. Things are quiet, of course, on the radars. Not anything going on here at home, and really not even, at least over in the eastern third of the United States. There's dry weather, there's quiet weather, and that's going to be sticking around for a few more days to come. Reason is we have high pressure in control of our weather, but it's starting to shift offshore a little more. That will continue to turn our winds out of the south and a little bit more stronger as we go over the next few days. That will continue us on this warming trend, pumping in that warm air from the south, which of course is typically a warmer wind direction. Under clear skies tonight, we will have a cool night of weather. Temperatures dropping down into the low 50s for us here at home, and generally upper 40s and low 50s for our folks in the west and in the foothills as well. Tuesday, it's a gorgeous day of weather. A few clouds early on, but they really won't get in the way of anything tomorrow. There's a lot of sunshine in the afternoon, and we're even much warmer than we were today. We're right around 80 degrees for your Tuesday afternoon. Looking ahead, the rest of the week, most of it is going to be quiet with some of our warmest days of the year so far by Wednesday and Thursday. Our next chance for rain doesn't look to arrive until we get into Friday, so we'll keep you up to date on that. But right now, not too many details to iron out. Tonight, clear skies. You want to step outside, especially if you stay up late. Around 11:32, the pink supermoon, which is the full moon of April, will peak around 11:32. We'll have clear skies, good weather to check that out. No, it won't be pink. It'll look white like a normal moon. I'll explain why coming up in a few minutes.
So this next story, it'll make you smile on this Monday, and we need that, don't we? So police officers in Arizona went to the extra mile to help a 4-year-old who lost a priceless toy. Now at first, they tried to track down the boy's ride-on tractor that was stolen. When they couldn't find it, they did the next best thing.
Gerald Philbrook hugs sharp turns like a pro. This is not his first battery-powered ride-on tractor. The 4-year-old had a similar toy he put together with his dad from the parts of other tractors. But earlier this month, it was stolen from the back of his dad's truck.
Why would someone do that? I would have been happier if they had taken my truck.
His dad posted this plea on Facebook: "I will sell whatever I can to come up with a reward if this is returned." Police in Tempe, Arizona saw it and a search began. But when they couldn't find the tractor,
Hey, we heard about your Gator tractor.
Thank you.
So we decided to go get you one. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Come on down.
the new toy tractor was courtesy of Walmart and the Tempe Police Officer Association.
That looks totally cooler than my actual everything.
I get emotional. I'm an emotional guy. But yeah, it just filled me with a lot of joy.
Gerald is feeling the joy too.
It's actually cooler than my other one
Why is it cooler?
because it has more stuff.
From a custom license plate to some brakes that have already been put to the test,
I just crashed right into the seat loading.
Gerald's dad says the first upgrade will be a helmet for the preschooler who definitely has a need for speed.
This is fast.
Laura Podesta, CBS News.
The cutest, the absolute cutest. He, so, you know, I never understand anybody that would steal a child's toy, first of all. Let's just get that out. But the fact that they came to his rescue and got him something that was even better, I love it. And he, so cool with those shades on, that I love that. The great story.
I'm jealous. I want a little gator to drive around. I could drive it around out here in the weather garden.
Did you ever have one of those as a kid, something similar?
I had a Jeep, but I never had a gator. I always wanted a real gator too, but I never got one of those.
Can you picture 6'4" Christian and a little mini gator riding around the weather garden? Like, are we serious?
His knees up around his ears.
Literally.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Please do that.
Okay, bring me one. I'll be out here in it.
I don't have the money to buy you one, Christian. I'm sorry.
They're expensive. LC, that's a perfect Monday story, right?
Perfect Monday story. I would love to see that. But this story, it really made me smile to see how emotional the officer got in this story. And it made me think of the quote, you know, if you can make one person smile, you might not be able to change the world, but you can change their world. And so they just really made this kid's day with giving him a new tractor trailer.
I just want to follow him around with a camera all
He's
day
so
because he
cute.
has some great one-liners.
You know, you need, your nieces now need.
Oh, you know Sarah Gardner, my mother,
yes.
has already picked out the Minnie Mouse motorbikes that will be at her house for when they come to visit.
Exactly right. That little Barbie Jeep, the pink Barbie Jeep,
That's what I was going to say.
So the story goes, my mom sent my dad out to get me the Barbie Jeep for one of my birthdays, and he came back with a Mickey Mouse police motorcycle. And I loved it, but my mom was like, that's not it. That's not what we asked for. But ever since then.
The best. All right, pictures. We need pictures.
Oh, we definitely have
I'm
pictures.
sure you have it. We're coming right back. Stay there.
The motorcycle was cooler than the Barbie Jeep. I liked it better.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. Okie dokie.
Mickey Mouse motorcycle.
Okay, I'm going to read you a text because you talk about managing up. This is one of the twins just now. I just texted him. I said, just think about you, buddy. What are you doing? You know, and he wrote back, yes, sir. Just making sure I'm staying on top of my time management. What about you?
You said time management?
Okay, that's not even a veiled managing up.
No,
that
that's
is,
a blatant.
I'm just,
I love it.
Yeah, it's because we've gotten on to him about.
This one, is this one working?
Is it working?
They have to.
We have
Okay,
to.
and a silly goose.
Okay, well maybe.
The other one's over here. I'm happy to trade.
It's because he's bad about scheduling his day out and doing this much study and that much. So
Sure.
All I said was, how you doing today?
That's hilarious.
Yes, sir. Managing up, sir.
It's all right. I'll try this one.
Sir,
I'll be on standby.
Okay.
I'll jump in.
All right. If
Ready
need
to
be.
go.
The thing's going to be in the middle here.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Facebook. Give us your stories of your kids
Gloria
managing
says,
up.
thank you for the cookie, Tanya. She always is asking about when do we hear the cookie.
When do we hear the cookie song?
The cookie
I might
song.
have to change it. I mean, there might have to be something else.
You should play maybe just the audio. I don't know if we can do that copyright-wise or not, but just so people can hear what the real commercial. Remember, I sent it to you that
That's
time.
right. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
There's more. The mic check only allows for so much of it.
That's true.
But you know the whole thing, right? If you
I
had
do know
to
the whole thing.
Okay. just want to make
if
sure.
I had to do the whole thing, I could do the whole thing.
It's funny because, you know, Chad recites his states, and I've learned the states in alphabetical order because of his mic check.
Yes.
But I need him to keep going.
Because he only stops at a certain point, and
And
you're
I'm
like,
like,
what happens after N?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
about
I'm
where
at-
he gets to,
I'm at,
Montana.
Montana.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Dana Arquilla that used to work here? She used to do the alphabet backwards super fast. She had it all memorized.
Oh, see, I couldn't do
ZYX,
that.
blah, blah, blah.
I couldn't do
Who
that.
did?
Her name was Dana Arquilla
Arquilla.
that worked here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You know, well, look at this right here. You see this?
I see them.
Okay, this is when your lawn gets flocked. And no doubt your neighbors are kind of asking you a little bit about it.
Tanya had to tell me about this. I'd never heard of this. Didn't know it was a thing.
To have the flamingos
Yes,
all of
to
a sudden
put those-
appear on your yard.
So, but I'm sure, I mean, it's a temporary thing though, right? It doesn't stay
sure.
forever.
Right. And you know that there's a time limit, right? So it's not like that big of a deal if your neighbor had all of this in it. But a bunch of maybe these, if you had like 24 of them in your front yard, homemade deer making looking things, they're probably a little bit more permanent.
That would be a call to the HOA, possibly. Yep.
Like,
if
hey,
you
what are
have
we
one.
doing with this?
Yes.
All right, speaking of HOA, I asked your wife,
Oh no.
hey, what do you have in your yard? And she's like, let me see what kind of picture I can get for you. And
That's all she has.
That's
her
it.
little spider in the back.
that's it. Yes, and
That's-
she said if it wasn't for her grandmother, it probably would not be in the yard.
Yes, that's all that we have anywhere, and that's in the back. You can't see it from the front.
Okay, so no neighbors complaining about that right there.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a beef with your neighbor, isn't it? Because that can get a little
Oh, yeah.
touchy, right? It's another thing to have something in your yard that is an issue to you as well. I want you to check this out. It is a big old fuel tank. Now, I don't know, does the picture do it justice? How big do you think that is?
So I've seen these, because I remember that's kind of an older thing, right? Like you don't
Mhm.
see that very often anymore, but they're gigantic, right?
At least 6 feet.
Wow.
At least 6 feet. This is not something that you can move. This is not something that you can haul. The company actually needs to get it. And that is where 2 Wants to Know is coming in. Because Barbara contacted 2 Wants to Know. She says, I decided to change fuel companies. The new company came out, installed their tank, and I called AmeriGas to have my account closed and for them to pick up the tank. At the time, which was in January, by the way, folks, they told her it would be spring. So she says, I called in March and called again in April. I was told there was no date scheduled. I just want this tank removed. Well, 2 Wants to Know got in touch with AmeriGas, who solved the issue within about 24 hours. Barbara wasn't home at the time, but her Ring doorbell cam, yeah, it shows that the truck is right there coming to pick up that fuel tank. The tank had been sitting there, again, unused since January, but now it's gone.
It's crazy what's right now.
Oh.
Did you say A&E for me and Maddie? Did you say A&E for me and Maddie?
I think Maddie's at 1.
Oh, 1. Okay.
This next story is what I like to call buck wild.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't read this one. What is it?
This is a good one.
Facebook folks, you get a little sneak peek here. Essentially, someone rented a videotape from a videotape rental store and found out years later that she had a felony charge because of the late return.
Just be kind and rewind. That's all you need
Be
to know.
kind and rewind.
I miss the days of Blockbusters.
Me
It was always
too.
exciting to go shopping for the movies, and
That
it
was
smelled like
Friday
popcorn.
night.
And
We used to go on Fridays as a family and get candy and everything.
Yep, that was
So now it's
Friday night.
Redbox
What are the
and Netflix.
cookie dough bites called? What are those? Are
I know what you're talking about,
Oh, you
but
mean
I
the-
don't know
that you
the
buy?
name.
Yeah, they're like chocolate covered
Yeah.
cookie dough movie candy.
Maddie, was Opie's Fun Time Video open in Mount Airy when you were little? Do you remember that? Do you remember that one?
No.
It was a locally owned video rental store, which they had a Blockbuster. I don't know why they did that.
We went to the Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's now a pharmacy.
Is that out there where? Yeah, because I worked at there was the Domino's was right there at the Blockbusters used to be, and I worked there in college.
Oh, really? Cool.
I delivered
now
Domino's
the-
pizzas.
Now the Lowe's Foods is right behind it, and then the movie theater, and then there's like a drive-in restaurant.
Maddie and I are talking Mount Airy. Sorry for all
I
of
love
you.
a drive-in restaurant.
I do too.
And I was so excited because drive-in movies were coming back for the pandemic. I hope we see that again this summer.
I do
Drive-in
too.
restaurant?
Yeah.
I've never been to one.
You got to
a
go
Sonic?
just a Sonic
Oh,
or something.
like a Sonic. Okay, yeah. I have been to one
But
of
like,
those.
And they still
They
roller
come out and
skate
skate,
in some of them.
bring you your food.
fun fact,
You're
you
the
can't
Dairy
roller
Queen?
skate. I love the
You
Dairy
can't?
Queen.
Oh,
I
I
can't
love.
roller skate.
I love to roller.
Ground steak sandwich, hook me up.
Yes. I need to do something on the Dairy Queen. They've been around for like 50 years,
So
60
long,
years.
more than that. That's where we went on snow days. That's where I met my now brother-in-law.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
neighborhood kids would go to Dairy Center.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he grew up like 6 houses down from us.
Cool.
Do you know that?
No.
My sister married the neighborhood boy.
That is fun.
Guys, this is a wild story. Imagine spending more than 20 years of life as a wanted felon, but never knowing about it until last week. It's exactly what happened to a Texas woman. She learned she was charged with felony embezzlement for not returning a VHS tape to an Oklahoma movie rental store back in 1999. The only reason she even found out she was a wanted felon was because she tried to change her name on her driver's license after she got married. And get this, the movie she held on to was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which she thinks an old roommate rented on her account. She's not even the one who rented it in the first place.
He had two kids, daughters that were 8, 10, 11 years old. And I'm thinking he went and got it and didn't take it back or something. I don't know. I have never watched that show in my entire life. Just not my cup of tea.
I want to know where they found a VHS tape player to do this story. Now, the local DA did dismiss the case after seeing the story, but she will have to get her case expunged from her record. I feel like I need to just plead the fifth in this situation because I know that there are library books or tapes in my possession.
Oh?
Yeah, this story had me thinking, did I return a book?
Yes.
Did I return a movie? Are
Especially-
the authorities looking for you at home? Like, that's scary.
I can't imagine being a felon, one, but I also can't imagine being a felon and not knowing about it. And then all this like catching up years later and also being a felon for a unreturned movie.
So what I want to know is if when she was trying to change her driver's license, her name on her license, did they arrest her? You know what I mean? Like, did someone,
yeah.
did they see it and then call in security or the police or whatever? That would be horrible.
You're under arrest. Why?
I was reading more about this story, and apparently she's lost jobs because of this.
And she didn't know? What?
Yeah, she didn't know, like, why am I losing my job? But it was because of this movie that she didn't even rent.
I can't with this story.
Mine.
But I do miss the experience of going to the video stores on Friday nights and getting
Yeah, we were
movies.
talking about that.
Yes, love that. If you're on Facebook, sorry I
Memories.
brought it up again. All right, Chris.
All right, Eric. Nice day of weather, no doubt about that. But something cool you can see in the sky tonight. Go ahead and set an alarm in your phone for about 11:31 tonight. That is when the pink supermoon will peak. Yes, I know it sounds like the moon is actually going to be pink, but it actually won't. It'll look like a normal full moon. But this will be a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter than the full moon of April normally is. The reason it's called a supermoon is because it comes the closest to the Earth as it ever would. So that's why it's a full super moon tonight. Will be something cool to see. And if you don't see it tonight, it's not like it's going to go away. You'll still have a chance to see it for the next couple nights with clear skies, but it will be the biggest and brightest that it will be tonight at about 11:30. Of course, we'll have clear skies to see it tonight. Beautiful sunshine across the Triad. Today we have high pressure in control of our weather, and that will stay in control of our weather for the next several days, keeping us on this warming trend, getting into the mid-80s as we get into the middle of the week, all the while staying dry. We could have some of our warmest temperatures of the year so far on Wednesday and Thursday. Next chance for rain doesn't look to arrive until we get to Friday. Still working on ironing out the details on that. We'll keep you updated, but we're drier and cooler heading into the weekend. That's your forecast. We're coming right back.
The CDC updated guidance for kids' summer camps.
Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire.
Hi, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Doing it. Okay. North Carolina A&T State University Chancellor Harold Martin.
Closing today, I want to let you know that is simply not true. Well, if you've seen the Facebook post,
Hello there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Time for my 2 cents. It's so nice to feel a sense of normalcy during the pandemic, and last night's Oscars offered just that. There were certainly changes to the almost century-old event. The awards are usually in February, but the Academy pushed them to April. It was at a different location. Stars were seated at spaced-out tables, and all mingling happened outside. Only nominees, their guests, and presenters attended, and only 170 people were in the main room at once. The very nature of tradition doesn't allow for change, but even the adaptations didn't take away from the fact that we are successfully navigating an almost post-pandemic world in some regards. Hey, I believe we're moving forward, taking small steps that will add up to big changes. Just last week, Governor Roy Cooper and the state coronavirus task force said they are looking to lift most restrictions by the start of June. More than 47% of North Carolina adults have received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. Last night, several stars alluded to the end of the pandemic. They encouraged us all to patronize local theaters and see all of the nominated films in the format they were created to be seen in. They asked us to support the industry that was with us through lockdowns, quarantines, and restrictions. Now, even though they were referring to film, it's a plea I'm sure many businesses will echo. I know we are all ready to be done with all of this, but it's great to hold on to the moments where we can see hope on the horizon. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
The synergy that this project is creating will have a ripple effect across the economy. There'll be a lot of businesses that spring up because of Apple.